welcome back everyone, welcome back to another weekend edition of the Tenacious Turtle Tussle number 30. Oh my god, 30 weeks already of Turtle Tussle action. Of course, your side VIP, with me I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all, as I think we might have to restart this. God damn it. As we're jumping into our first series, as we're jumping into our first matchup, and it's all good. And we will have to remake. It's all good, but we do have our first series. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked. This tournament is an open tournament, open to all. It is a bi-weekly, bear that in mind, not every single week, but every 2 weeks we do have this event. We do host this event, open to all regions, all shapes, all sizes, and we have quite a lineup here this week. We have some Europeans that have stayed up late into the night. We have some Koreans that are working up early, and we have some players from the Americas which are ready, which are primed here for the event, which is why I'm happy to see for the first time in quite some time, Vindicta. Miguelito, papi. Oh my, mijito. my favorite. Oh no. But yes, Vindicta is going to be rocking up against Rebellion in an NA versus Korea match, and here we go. We're now jumping into our first series of the broadcast, and spawning in the top right hand corner of ley lines we have our American Terran player, the blue Terran representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Vindicta. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner we have the red Protoss player representing among SC2 people. It is Rebellion. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our best of 3. Let's go. And coming into this, I'm ready, I'm excited. I think I lean slightly towards Vindicta just because I have seen him show some prowess in TVP over the past couple of months. I do think that he is one to be taken quite seriously here in this matchup. Rebellion on the flip side likewise has been improving a lot. I'm hoping for an ace match. I'm hoping for a back and forth series here between Rebellion and Vindicta. We'll see how this does turn out. Let's go. Meanwhile, I do also want to apologize as well for those that were here yesterday when it comes to either Code for Giants Cup or the Rex March Madness. I do apologize for not being able to cover either one. It was the Code for Giants Cup, which was in 24 hours ago, where unfortunately I wasn't able to cover it because I could not sleep. I had a rough night last night, and I wasn't able to sleep beforehand. Basically, I was like lying in bed for like 6 hours. Like I was trying to get some rest before Code for Giants Cup. By the time Code for Giants Cup began, I was still awake. And I was like, I can't. Like, I could cast, but it would not be good. So, unfortunately, I missed out on Code for Giants Cup, so we're going to be covering that via replays over the weekend. Oh, sorry, I should say next week. Also, for Rex March Madness, if you were here, this would have been, what, at this point, 12 hours ago. I was live, we were good to go, but unfortunately something was happening with our internet and it was just not stable. OBS was struggling. In game I was getting like 1,000 ping. It was crazy. So unfortunately we weren't able to cover Rex March Madness last night either. So just really smooth day yesterday. So usually we're live, you know, twice a day, every single day. Yesterday, both broadcasts, we weren't able to bring them to fruition, so I do apologize for that. But for both events, we're going to be catching up via replays. Shout out to the organizers of both events. I have received replay packs from both tournaments, from Code for Giants Cup and Rex March Madness, and we'll be covering those replays over the next week. Rex March Madness should be on Saturday, should be this weekend, and Code for Giants Cup will be next week. So we'll still be casting it, but via replays instead, which is less than ideal, but you know, better than nothing. And again, just the internet was just very unstable. I'll be honest, I'm very anxious casting right now just because I don't know if the internet's gonna die again, but everything looks good so far. Everything looks stable, everything looks okay, so we should be okay to settle in. For whatever reason, yeah, yesterday it was just very spiky. I was just crazy spikes up and down. Everything was dying. For now, though, we're settling in. They're going to be a Stargate open out of Rebellion. Vindicta does cover it. He does knock himself into the main as well. Let's go. Vindicta, he's got some moves. Dives into the main base, does wreak some havoc, does force a reaction. Even wastes energy on the Oracle as well. So very nice damage here. Not just scouting, but forcing this reaction, forcing some lost mining time. Nice damage so far out of Vindicta. Likewise, Heli into the mineral line is going to go down, but does get a full scout of everything that's going on. And across the map, it's going to be on Migs to keep up with the Oracle. Now, because the NG overcharged, despite the Oracle spending energy, still pretty well, pretty topped up. Ooh, and this is a build that Rebellion does mix in from time to time. What do we see? A fleet beacon. We're rushing to a fleet beacon. Now, don't get ahead of ourselves here. This is not for Skytoss. This is not for Skytoss, at least not usually. This should be not a rush into Carrier, not a rush into Tempest, not necessarily. This should be for the Mothership, where we're going to be rushing into the Mothership. We can support with a couple of Skytoss units, but I should emphasize no second Stargate. It's going to be a ground-based composition with extra gateways, Mothership, and ideally a recall into the main. So Fleet Beacon is done, and we should soon be seeing that Mothership. Meanwhile, across the map, the Oracle is deflected. So far, Migs is keeping up, and as we mentioned, there's that Mothership. And again, the reason why we know this is because this is a build that Rebellion does enjoy whipping out once in a series, at least once in a series, in a PvT. So this is a specialized PvT build. As we mentioned, the goal here is to recall. It's a very cheeky move, and we have seen this work quite a lot against Zerg players. Specifically, when you recall into the main base, you should be recalling with sentries, and you'll have force fields. You'll have force fields to wall off the ramp, to wall off these areas, and to just lock the army out, and that can insta-win you the game against Zerg. Against Terran, it's a little bit different because Terran players have medevac, so they can respond and they can try to drop into their own base and try to alleviate pressure that way. So Terran players have a little bit more mobility, for example, but it's going to come down to whether or not this Mothership gets scouted. And so far, there is no scout. So far, this is hidden. There is that one Tempest on the way, but again, mass gateways, right? We have a gateway explosion here as well, so we're getting up to how many around, what, 6, 7, 8 gates are getting ready. Here comes our Mothership. Sentries are warping in, and as we mentioned, it's going to be all about those force fields. Now, the next big step, can the Mothership get across the map without being scouted? That's the next big thing here. Raven Harass coming in, Mothership is on the way, and so far, Vindicta, he is contained. He's contained on 2 bases. He doesn't see what's going on. Again, we're just gearing up for that recall. Auto charge harass into the mineral line. Probes are going down. This is some good damage. But Migs doesn't scout the main. He doesn't see the fleet beacon. He doesn't know. Does not know. Catching up with the chat. Chat te pegaweta. Some scrub as well. Tavito, papi, Tavito. And here we go. Here comes the Mothership. Here comes the mass recall. Stasis goes off. Drop is on the way. Mothership gets spotted. And there's that recall into the main. Onto Stim. Can Stim finish? Up. Oh my god. Yeah, the recall does complete. Stim, it looks like it's going to finish up in 3. No, it's denied. Stim is denied. Force fields being thrown down. Tanks are going down as well. And this might just be game. There is no Stim. The scan runs out. And with that, Rebellion, actually, the Bio Army looking quite hefty here. If only we had Stim, if only. Raven comes in to support, but alas, it looks like it's too much. Rebellion, he's breaking through that defensive line. He cleans up whatever's in the main. GG gets called, and in one fell swoop, Rebellion will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Rebellion does take a lead in the series. Again, a very, very cheeky build here out of Rebellion. As we were saying, a lot of it was precedented on the fact that there was no scouting. Vindicta, he did not see the fleet beacon. He did not see the building Mothership on the Nexus. He didn't see the Mothership moving out. Didn't see it getting into the main base. Like, there's a lot there that unfortunately Vindicta, he was denied vision, denied scouting. He did not see what was happening. On top of that, barely didn't finish Stim. Remember, Stim was like 3 seconds away, like 2 to 3 seconds away from finishing. It was very close. It was very, very clutch. And in the end, it did not complete. I'm saying that I don't know if Stim would have been a deciding factor. It's unclear. There was a little bio there. If Stim was available, would that have been enough to pull off a defense? Again, hard to say. Like, the tanks were force fielded in, so the tanks went down real fast and real quick. The tanks, they were the first to go down. Without those tanks, the ground army of Rebellion did get out of hand as well. So again, it's hard to say. Definitely something that didn't help Vindicta in the defense, but regardless, GG well played. Rebellion, he does pull off that first game, and we'll see if Vindicta can bring it back. Now what I will say here is that game 1 and that build, typically Rebellion only does it once in a series. It's not something that you can rely upon. But what it does do is it kind of sets the pace here, and it sets the tone as well, because Rebellion, he does come up with his own builds. Like, it's not like this build is something that everyone does. Not at all. It's very niche, and players like Rebellion, Luna C, Adachi, even like some of the Korean up-and-coming Protoss players, they do like to share their builds with each other. And it is something that he does whip out from time to time, but doesn't rely upon. And here we go. We're getting into our next game, loading into Ultra Love, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing among SC2 people. It is Rebellion. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the American Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing the Phantom Heroes. It is Vindicta. New metagame. not quite, but some of the Korean Protosses, as I mentioned, like players like Lunacy, players like Rebellion, players like maybe Ateshi as well, but this is well, what we saw in the last game is a very unique build that they do whip out from time to time, so always something to bear in the back of your mind if you are up against some of our Korean Protoss players, so do bear that in mind. But I don't expect to see that build again in this series. Maybe if we go to the Ace match, maybe Rebellion will bring it back. But what's also important here is that I am sure that if we see another Stargate opener in this series, Migs is going to be on top of scouting. I'm sure that this time he will be willing to spend a scan or willing to move out a little bit earlier on just to get a read on what's happening. I wouldn't be surprised if Vindicta has never seen that build before either, especially if you're not playing against these more up and coming Korean Protoss players, like the European Protosses. I don't think they're going for like those kind of mothership rushes. Like I don't think that's happening necessarily. But this is a new build that was popularized or did rise up with the latest patch, right? With the change to the mothership. Meanwhile, Bunker behind the mineral line. Bunker gets thrown down. Migs moving out, looking to deal some economic damage so far unscouted. Now the purpose of this opener here is to deny mining time and to force out a shield battery and to force out a stalker. So try to force responses here out of Rebellion, and so far the Bunker looks like it will finish. So Bunker will complete, Reaper's moving out, and let's go. Mothership Rush, Monka S, yeah. Of course, it's Rebellion. Like, we expected it at least once in this series. Homono, he loves playing against it. I have heard. Homono, he loves it. He loves to die to it as well. As this time it is going to be a Twilight Council. So this time a Twilight Council opener out of Rebellion. This should be Blink, so Blink based opener instead. The Stalker has arrived, shield battery has been thrown down, and no mining whatsoever here at the natural. So far very nice damage here from Vindicta. Now this opener has in a way been nerfed. It has been nerfed in the latest patch. For those that are maybe unaware, just because you don't see it too often, the Hellion does make its way into the main. The Hellion does get a full scout. Nicely done, does go from the Twilight Council. But for those that remember, when it comes to the patch and when it comes to the patch notes, the Bunker can no longer be salvaged. Or I should say it can be salvaged, but the salvage gets cancelled when the building gets attacked. So now this is more costly here for Terran players. Now most likely this Bunker will be killed instead of salvaged. Ooh, meanwhile across the map, that's going to be a delay in the CC. SCV does go down. Bunker under fire. SCV, oh, does fall. No room repairs. And it's now going to be dealt with. And the Bunker will be dealt with. Salvage is, yep, you can see there is denied, so no salvage. Almost got away with it with like 1 or 2 more seconds. It was close. That was a kill the Bunker, and across map Migs, he will now get his natural up and running. Likewise, 1-1-1 into Banshee. So we do have a Banshee-based opener. Bearing in mind, no cloak yet, so there's going to be no detection required to deal with this, but this can still deal some nice damage across the map. Just a bit of a lesser commitment here from Vindicta, going for the vanilla Banshees. I'm building up back at home. And again, he already scouted the tech, he's aware of the Twilight Council, he sees it researching as well. I'm sure he was maybe making sure there was no crazy like DT opener or something like that, which is viable in this matchup, which we do see from time to time. But no Dark Templar. No Dark Templar. 20 minutes of ads, I'll smudge. Not like this. So now we are just getting to our eventual 3-1-1 setup. As Rebellion does move out. Likewise, Banshees are moving in, making their way into the main. So far, so good. Hey, I mean, Rebellion out of position. Probe's going to be going down. Shield Battery will finish. Shield Battery will be enough to defend. Now it's time to focus on the offense behind this 4-gate. Oh, my apologies. A little bit distracted by 4-gate blink here from Rebellion. He's committed, but there are 2 bunkers. Yeah, 2 bunkers on the high ground. Oh, a bit of a premature auto turret here out of Vindicta, but so far he does maintain the natural. What about the main? What about the main base? He does have 2 tanks. Okay, 2 tanks in the main, 1 tank in the natural. So far, Migs, he's very well fortified. He has some nice SimCity as well. Rebellion, he's rotating. And he takes a 3rd. Now, 4-gate blink isn't all in, but it's very committed. This 3rd base is late. It's a later 3rd base in favor of all these stalkers and in favor of all these gateways. Damage needs to be done. So far, getting 1 SCV. Gets a couple of SCVs. 1 so far. And it's okay, but ideally once more. Banshee does hit the natural. No shield battery within range. Gets 1 worker, denies mining time. Better damage here from Vindicta. And he defends well. He does defend well. And Rebellion, he's denied access to the bases. And soon, Migs will break out. He's waiting for his upgrades, waiting for stim, combat shields, everything to finish up. Oh! Zoning away, that's Prism. And again, back at home, Rebellion, he is in a bit of a worse place here. Going for the Dark Shrine. Makes sense. 1 behind. Dark Shrine. Dark Shrine is on the way. Charge. +1. Dark Templar can be very frustrating to deal with. There is... That's Raven. But the Raven's across the map. Prism is ready for those Warpins. And no safety turrets. No safety missile turrets here. Is moving out. Yeah, he is spotted. As he moves out, Prism should be getting ready to move in. Most likely with those Dark Templar. This is still a hefty army though for Vindicta. Goes down the auto turret, scans ahead of time. Migs does move out. He does have that 3rd CC on the way, so Migs, he's not all in. Here come those Dark Templar. They're almost ready. But they need more time. Dark Shrine is still not done. Migs diving into the main. Oh my god. Yeah, we'll siege up. Nice mind connection. Takes out a stalker. Tank volley's going up. When he denies, she denies charge. Charge is denied. Here come those Warpins. ZT's across the map. Dark Shrine has not been scouted as Cybercore goes down. And Migs is going for the kill at the same time. Turret. Oh, the Prism! Oh, the Prism goes down! Does not load. Does not load. 0 Dark Templar. Ay, ay, ay. No GT harass. Base is going to go down. We see Rebellion trying to collapse on this army, but again, there's a slow lots. We'll clean this up eventually, but GG gets called, and a Vindicta, he will snowball out of control. He will take game 2. We're going to the ace match. Whew. We are going to the ace match. Hi, hi, hi. We could have ended up like in a weird base trade or something. Like those Dark Templar had potential across the map. More importantly, no charge makes it that much more difficult to break that siege line as well. It was brutal to see, not just like so much happen at once. It was charge being denied, but also Cybercore went down, which means no Stalker warp-ins. What does that mean? That means you can only warp in Zealots, Slow Lots to reinforce. So it was just the worst case scenario there for Rebellion, only reinforcing with Slow Lots. DTs were across the map, they got shut down. GG. GG, well played. Whew. We're going to the ace match. We are going to the ace match, going all the way to game 3, and we'll see how this story ends. Of course, when it comes to Vindicta's move out and how strong it looked, a lot of it also came down to the opener of Rebellion. Just as a reminder, Rebellion did open 4-gate blink, and typically when you commit that heavily into that many warp ins, into that many gateways, you do need to get some value, get some damage done with those blink stalkers. And if you remember, what did he get? He got 1 SCV. He got 1 SCV in the main base. He didn't really get much damage done with those blink stalkers. He didn't break any tanks. He didn't take down any bunkers. Like, imagine that push with 1 or 2 less tanks, right? Like, if he had been able to snipe some tanks early on, then the push would have been definitely just weaker in general there, and it wouldn't have been as successful. Just a different kind of game state. Whew. So solid defense early on there by Vindicta, and now we're going all the way to the ace match. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the American Terran player, the blue Terran, representing the one of heroes. It is Vindicta. Whew. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the red Protoss player from South Korea, representing among SE2 people. It is Rebellion. Here we go. We are going to be jumping in. And again, welcome one and all to Persephone. For those that are curious, for those who maybe haven't seen this map, one, I would say, Fappy, you haven't been watching the CranKy Ducklings, what's going on? But the Team Liquid Map Contest 20 was a month ago? 2 months ago at this point, was quite some time ago, I should emphasize. And during the period of TLMC, we were featuring all of the newest maps. TLMC 20 ended last week, voting did conclude, and we have our finalists. And now that, you know, TLMC is over, we still are featuring some TLMC maps in our tournaments. We have removed the 3 older maps, so we do not feature Neo Violet Square, Abyssal Reef, or King's Cove. Those 3 maps are out. And instead, we do feature maps like Persephone, Sandworm, and Last Fantasy. Last Fantasy, of course, being the 3-player spawn map, Persephone also being a very popular map amongst the players. I mean, as you can see here, despite us only having 3 TLMC maps, players are willing to play on them. They're willing to play on those TLMC maps over the ladder maps. So players, it's really cool to see that they're embracing them. They're even preferring them over some of the ladder maps as well. When it comes to Persephone, I believe Persephone came. Did it come second? I know that Last Fantasy came first in TLMC. I want to say Persephone was maybe second place. I'd have to double check. But some of the features here. First things first, healing pad. We've got a healing pad on the right hand side in the center of the map. Right next to the healing pad, what we have? Speed zones and the gold expansion, which Rebellion is sneaking by. It looks like he plans to proxy here on the right hand side of the map. But we have a bunch of speed zones leading into that gold expansion. We have like this entire alleyway on the right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, the rush distance by air is relatively short, and the rush distance by ground is very direct. When it comes to the natural base, there's no ramp coming into it, and it is a little bit more open here outside of the natural at the 3rd location. Do have some nice choke points, some nice points of elevation, so the triangular 3rd is relatively defendable. The linear 3rd base is a little bit more open on the low ground. Bear that in mind. For now, Twilight Council opener, are we planning for a proxy Dark Shrine? If we were, we'd already see a pylon, to be honest. Like, the Twilight Council is about to finish, there's no pylon here, so I'm not leaning towards Proxy Dark Shrine. There we go, Blink is on the way, and we'll see how Rebellion will piece this all together. As a reminder, last game, this was 4-gate Blink. We'll keep an eye on the gateways this time. Meanwhile, over from the side of Vindicta, he does slip into the main. Gets full scout, gets a full scout into the main base, it does confirm. Shield Battery will protect the mineral line, but he does confirm the researching Twilight Council. So you can assume it's going to be Blink. Likewise, Hellion into the natural, won't get much damage done. It does get eyes on the extra gateways, but it does go down. So Hellion does full, 2 gates for the time being. Oh my god! God damn it. I had assumed it was for a proxy pylon, for like a proxy gateway or proxy tech. No. We're going 3rd Nexus off of a 2-gate opener. Very greedy build, very economic. I would say a standard economic opener here if it was 2-gate blink into a 3rd, but it's 2-gate blink into a ninja gold base. Let's go. He's cooking, baby. Let him cook. Let him cook. Vindicta going in for his Widowmine drop. Just a single Widowmine. Does dive into the main. Oh. Rebellion does pull away in time. Oh, does pull away. Mining is denied. Mining is delayed, I should say. And nice on Burrow. Ooh, will go down. And Migs, he does get a rescout of the main base. He does get eyes on the Forge, on an extra gateway. He checks for the 3rd base, but something doesn't add up, right? Like, this gateway is late. Like, these are late extra gateways. Forge as well is a bit of an interesting choice because it typically means a longer game. We can see Migs, he's checking. Checks the linear 3rd, checks the triangular 3rd. He's looking for the base. He knows that something is missing here. And it's a ninja. And the Raven is rallied. I believe it is. I believe the Raven is rallied here to check before going across the map. There's a scan again. Migs, he's trying to figure out what's going on. He sees the gateways, but he knows that they're later than they should be. And he will confirm. He sees the recourse. He finds the ninja base. Yeah, Migs, he knows. And mining is denied. He's just parked here over the expansion. Whew. So again, really nice scouting out of Vindicta. You could argue he did spend a scan. True, he did spend a scan for this just to because again, at the time he was trying to figure out what was happening, what was going on, but he was able to piece it all together and he should be able to deny this. So at least he knows. A rebellion is being active, but again, this army is relatively small. Remember, he did prioritize the expansion over gateways and over warp-ins. So we'll see how Migs will approach this. Okay, so bold move. Migs, he's going for a drop. Across the map as well, not towards the gold base. On the one hand, I do like this, because Rebellion, he knows he got scouted, so he's in position to protect his gold. Back at home, nothing. Nothing, I say nothing. 2 Stalkers. There's 2 Stalkers back at home to defend. So this might force a recall. Or at least a defensive warp-in. Only a single drop though. Not too committed. Meanwhile, warp-ins here from Rebellion. Charge is done. And back at home, we have 2 tanks to defend. They're getting in position. And so far, a sole position here for Vindicta. Oh, he spots it. He does spot it. Yeah, nice snipe. Observer goes down. Vision is denied. Another warp-in though. Again, because of the gold base, we can afford all those zealots. We can afford extra gateways. How many gates is he on? 8. Jesus. An 8-gate setup. Mass charge. Does make sense. Drop into the main base. Is that shield battery overcharge? Or energy overcharge? Despite that, takes down one of the Stalkers. Oh, almost gets another. And Rebellion, he does not recall. He does not recall. He will clean this up. Meanwhile, auto turret here towards the gold. And Migs, he can't move out. Yes, he is aware of the gold base. He is delaying some of the mining here. But there are just so many zealots. He scans, he sees the army. Going for a drop instead. Oh, catches the Prism. Yeah, Prism up. Barely escapes. Barely does get away. Whew. Medevac did survive. Now, coming into this game set here, Migs is in a really awkward position. The gold base is up and running because that extra zealots, extra warp-ins, just a mass zealot army is waiting for him, and ideally, Rebellion wants to fight out into the open. Rebellion, he doesn't want to push into this. He doesn't want to push into a bunker, SimCity, and 2 tanks. But if he can catch Vindicta out in the open, that's going to be ideal. Migs knows this. Migs, he knows this, which is why he's contained. He's contained, he knows that he can't really move out yet. So he's trying to go for drop play, and he's going for a massive Dune drop. This is so risky. And right now, we do see the shade from Rebellion. He's looking for the army. he sees there's not really much here at home, at least not at the natural, but it could be in the main, right? It could be in the main base. And without full confirmation, Rebellion, yeah, he's not going to move in. He could, but he doesn't. He doesn't because he doesn't know. Massive Doom into the main base, forces a recall. Drop has arrived, so far so good. Chosen Pilot going to be going down. Barely not. The Warpin is lackluster here. The Zealots are going to be dealt with. And Migs, he's breaking through. He's breaking through. Snowballing out of control. He takes down all the Zealots, dives on top of the sentries, focuses down the Stalkers. And Rebellion, he's racing back home. Core completely out of position. Again, it was a risky maneuver going for the Doom drop, but it did pay off. It did pay off from here. Migs, he's forced out, but he did trade very well. And now he can move out. Now he's broken free. He's broken free. He can unsiege his tanks. He doesn't. He will leave his tanks at home. We can move out with everything else. Prism getting caught out. Barely escapes. And Migs is going for the kill. He's going for the kill, going for the throat. Oh, missile goes off. Yeah, the Zealot army gets dusted. EMP is available. He's got that one ghost. Sorry, two ghosts now. Oh, and can he snipe that Robo in time? It's going to be close. It's going to be close. Can he get it? Oh my god, barely does. Robo goes down. No Colossus. And Vindicta, he does it. He has broken Rebellion. The missile does run out, but we have a massive EMP. Yeah, EMP goes off. Zealots, they just melt. And Migs, he will snowball out of control, chasing down the final army. Again, barely no Colossus in time. Breaks through the Zealots, takes out the Stalkers, going for the expansion. And Rebellion can just not engage. And despite the goal base getting up and running, he just cannot engage, cannot deal with this. Again, it was a wild maneuver going for the Doom drop, but also very calculated as well. What I'm getting at is that everything within Rebellion was telling him not to push in, right? That's why it was important that he scouted with that hallucination, with that shade. But GG gets caught and Vindicta will take the series 2-1. Whew, GG. Oh my god. GG, well played, congratulations. Vindicta, he will claim the series. Again, a very intense back and forth. And to go for the Doom drop there, again, winding it back a little bit, we spoke about how Vindicta was contained, right? We spoke about how he could not move out with his ground army, otherwise he would be caught out without his tanks, without his SimCity, so he was stuck at his natural, except he was able to sneak away with that Doom drop. In the lead up to it, remember, he sniped the Observer. Remember, he sniped the Observer well ahead of time, so there was no vision. Likewise, Rebellion, he was trying to scout. He moved in with the Adept with the hallucination. He was trying to scout, trying to slip in. And he found that there was nothing in the natural, but that could just mean the army's in the main instead, right? That could just mean the army is in the main base. So, alas, he was caught with his pants down. He didn't have full confirmation. He missed the Doom drop. He had no vision on the left-hand side. And with that Doom drop, Vindicta did win the game, did just pick away at the army. GG. GG, well played. Whew. And now we're getting into our next series, into our next match. Let's go. As we're getting into our next matchup here. Not enough time to look at the... Oh. Not enough time to look at the bracket itself, unfortunately, but we are jumping into our fresh best of 3. We have our next series. We're jumping into a PvP. Oh. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have our German Protoss player, the green Protoss. Also, my apologies, I just jumped into the cast and jumped into the matches without giving a proper shout out. A massive shout out to Jumy. Oh my god, este Jumy Papi. He did give us a raid, earlier, so thank you so much. Hope he had a great stream and ladder session, and for those that are tuning in, hope you guys had a great time. And now we're going to be featuring him here and now in the top left hand corner for Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player. It is Sig. Sig? Siege? What's going on? Hold on, just catching up. I believe, not too familiar with where he's from, but it did take down Hunted Swarm 2-0, and we found ourselves in our PvP. Now, the reason why we've jumped into this series, outside of course, Jumy raiding us earlier, did give us a raid earlier, but the winner of the series will face off against Vindicta. So Vindicta, he just showed his prowess in TvP, and he will have another Protoss opponent in the next round, in the quarterfinals. So we're following this series into the next. Meanwhile, we do have our openers here. We do have a 2-gate opener. 2-gate opener out of Jumy. Meanwhile, Gate Expand into Cybercore. Oh my god, a very greedy build. Again, expansion before Cybercore. So you do not get greedier than this. Arguably the most greedy build you can go for in PvP. Very risky. Jumy doesn't probe scout though. So this is lining up pretty well. This is quite fortunate here for our red Protoss. Jumy, he's going to be moving in, but this is going to be a delayed scout. Again, it looks like he is hiding his second pylon, so he's trying to make it look like a proxy. But after seeing this, I'm sure he wishes it was a real proxy. So he does zip in. He sees the timing of the Nexus. Nexus is almost done. It's almost done. Jumy has not thrown his down. That's just how far ahead the base is here for our red Protoss. For Sig? Siege? Siege? I'll call him Sig for now, even though I don't think that's how it's pronounced. it's fine. It's fine. Oh, Swedish. Oh, there you go. From Sweden. Beautiful. Yo, shout out to our European competitors, just because I know it's quite late in Europe. I know it's like around midnight, if not like 1 a.m., nearing 2 a.m. in the morning. So not too late, but late nonetheless. So I do appreciate it. Meanwhile, as we're getting into our second series of the broadcast, a big shout out to Ryan in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ryan Victors, for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great, I'm assuming, ladder session. Hope you had a great time, and welcome one and all to the Tenacious Total Tussle. For those that are just now tuning in, this is a bi-weekly tournament. Every 2 weeks we host this event. It is open to all players. And exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves. We have players like Jumy, Vindicta, we have Nicoract, we have ByuN, we have some Koreans, Europeans, and Americans all coming together here for the turtle. We're all tussling like a turtle. It's fine. Meanwhile, we do see Sig, he does enjoy himself, or he should be able to enjoy a better economy. Unfortunately, he's denied access to his natural. There we go. Does move in, going for a robo response, a very safe follow-up here, going to really fast immortal production. So we have taken our roles. For the early game here, our red Protoss is going to be the defender. He has no Twilight Council, he has no blink, he had a faster expansion. He's going to be more defensive with those immortals. It's going to be on Jumy to break that defense. Here we go. Gateway's on the way, his own immortal production, and a Twilight Council. So Jumy is threading these shades. He does slip into the main. Does he commit? He does. Of course, Sword Ups, a one-shot probes. First probe goes down, he gets one, he gets two. And he barely does not get three. So 2 probes for Sword Ups, not the best trade here for Jumy. Likewise, he at least gets a full scout. He confirms the Robo Opener and the Immortals. And we'll see how Jumy recovers. Now, what I will say, I really do appreciate the build of choice of our red Protoss, but did miss some probe cycles. Some probe production cycles were missed. Jumy, as a result, he's actually up 7 probes. Like, the Chronos and the macro of Jumy has been better here, and unfortunately our red Protoss player here has been missing Chronos, has been missing some probe cycles, and because that did slightly fall behind here economically, he's building himself back up. Hallucination is moving out. And Jumy is still finding himself in a good position. He's in a solid position, going for the Forge, +1. No Forge yet here from our red Protoss. Oh, also, I apologize. If I did miss it, yeah. Do apologize, but predictions now open. Place your bets. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck in the chat. I was distracted by the raid earlier, but yes, get your Gamba going. It is Gamba time. As both players are taking their third bases, and so far we're settling into the mid game. No major aggression from either player. I did mention earlier that Jumy was going to take the more aggressive stance, and in a way he did with his adepts, but for the most part he's building up into the mid game. Oh, he does scout the third base. He's moving out. Bold move. Shatter to the turtle. As Jumy does move out. Likewise. Red Protoss not quite in position. Distracted by the adepts. Uh-oh. Yeah, it does get distracted. Jumy, he's going for the third base. He has force fields. His opponent does not have blink. And with that, yeah, he locks down 2 stalkers. Nicely done. Locks down another 2. Yeah, 4 stalkers do fall. Massive pickups. And the expansion, it's under fire. It's going to go down as well. Nice kind of force fields, locking down one of the immortals. Nice pickup. Immortal goes down, but the base is under fire and it's getting low. Yeah, one more volley. Shield battery doing what it can, but there's no saving it. There's no saving it. Barely not. Whew. Jumy has to get the hell out of here. He does bleed out a lot of units, but does blink into the main. Does blink in. Does blink away. And he triggers a counterattack. He triggers a massive counterattack here. Sig hits the third. Shield battery's not ready. No shield battery, no force fields, and no immortal. Yeah, Jumy, he has to retreat, has to back off. Have a back and forth. Probes going down, forcing a recall. Does force a recall. Oh, blinks on over. Takes down the prism. And Jumy's in trouble here. Is in trouble. No micro without that prism. Going for the immortal though. Sig is getting locked down. It's being locked down, will bleed out that immortal, and he's running out of steam. He wants the immortal, he wants it. Won't quite get it. There we go, the first immortal does fall, but the punish is real. There's still another immortal, and the shield battery is halfway done. Yeah, so he's running out of steam. He's running out of steam. Remember, he lost that third base, still trying to rebuild, still behind economically. With these extra reinforcements, can he get on top of that immortal? Not quite. Not quite. There's force back. Still a very tense moment here. Still a very tense game state, but the longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for Jumy. He just has a better economy. Just has a better economy. Getting to +2. Working towards Archon production. Temple Archives on the way. He rotates. Rotates over. Seek? I think I'll go for Seek. Let's back off, does rotate around. Now we calm down. We're slowing things down here. Jumy, he has weathered the storm. He survived the counterattack. He still has a better economy. He's building up into Archons, into Immortals, has an upgrade advantage. There's going to be a window in time where Jumy has +2 and his opponent does not. So there's that big upgrade advantage here for Jumy. The armies, they pass by each other. Jumy going for the third. Immortals are exposed. Oh, yeah, the Immortals are exposed. Stalkers are coming from behind, going for the prism. They didn't quite get it. Prism does survive. Fourth base is denied. Jumy pushing in. Almost getting surrounded. They're in an awkward position here. Yeah, awkward position for Jumy. Does get on top of the Immortals. Yeah, the first Immortal goes down. Massive pickup. He gets one. He's going to get all 3. He's going to get all 3 here. First Immortal falls. So does the second. Now getting on top of the third. Stalkers are coming from behind. Nice snipes here on the Immortals. But there's still 2 Immortals left for Jumy, warping into the main base. And he's just going for the kill. He's going for the throat. Stalker's trying to keep up, but he cannot. GG gets called, and Jumy takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Jumy does take a lead in the series. And with that, Jumy needs 1 more to advance on. We'll see. See if he does break through. I was asking Jumy. I was like, yo, are we getting pizza today? He's like, no, no, no. Once in a lifetime. Smurge. Okay, okay. So we're getting ready for game number 2. Likewise, looks like the rest of the bracket is progressing. It's progressing here. Looks like the first round has concluded. And here we go. And game 2 is going to be on Amygdala. Whew. Sorry, it was just catching up. Just catching up with the chat. Last time I ordered pizza was on my day. It never came. Refused to give a refund. Oh no, no. Smurge. Ah, feels bad, man. Feels bad. When Sa bites back. But here we go, we're jumping into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amygdala. We have our German Protoss player, the green Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. Leading the series 1-0 and spawning in the top right-hand corner. We have the red Protoss player from Lena, Sweden. It is Siege. Siege? Siggy? Siggy, maybe. Here we go. And honestly, our red Protoss player here had a really... I actually preferred them in the opener here of last game when going for the faster expansion, the greater economy. As I mentioned before, though, unfortunately, they weren't able to saturate in time, or they were missing some probe cycles as well, and their macro was lacking a little bit there. So despite Jumy having a much later expansion, and despite Jumy not really killing many workers, he was able to catch up. He was able to catch up and able to overwhelm and overcome. Now that Jumy is more familiar with his opponent, this time probe scout. Remember, last game he went for a delayed probe scout and a fake proxy pylon. This time Jumy wants to be sure that his opponent isn't greedy and that he's there to punish it. So he does check instantly. Checks natural, goes down. Siege, he's going for the expansion, but Jumy is here and he will block. And look at that, we do have what, 500 minerals in the back. Does get it. Oh my god, Jumy does miss a pylon block. It does miss. So very nicely done. Very nicely done here from Siege. Very nicely done. It does get his expansion, followed by the cyber core. Jumy did delay for a time, but not enough. Oh, let's go. Let's go. I was waiting for the proxy. Waiting for the all-in. We have a pylon in the main base. He's checking. Let's go. He checks. He confirms. He's aware. Oh my god. Okay, so he is aware of the pylon in the main. Siege knows that Jumy does not. As Siege, he does scout the pylon, and the probe has more vision than the building pylon. Meanwhile, 2-gate opener. And we'll see how Jumy responds. Jumy does open up double adept. Double adept opener. Jumy in position to expand. I mean, Jumy's not going for an all-in, and yeah, now Jumy knows he's been found. Knows he has been found out. There's the expansion. And Warp Gate is still not done, so we're not going to be able to make use of that pylon. Unfortunately, it was a cheeky move there by Jumy, but again, he was scouted. As Zeb say, make their way across the map. Twilight Council opener out of Siege. Zeke. Zeke. That's moving in. And actually, just like last time, despite having all these workers, mining is denied. Mining is denied. So this is also, if you recall, again, no probes being built from the natural either, or delayed building. And this is how Jumy was able to get an economic lead last game. Which is there is no mining. And Jumy's catching up. It's catching up, going for a Proxy Dark Shrine. Okay. Proxy Dark Shrine out of Jumy. Now, unlike the previous game, we have a different build here, and I'm concerned for our red Protoss. What am I referring to? If you remember, last game it was a Robo Opener into Fast Immortals. This time, Jumy, he did scout, he did confirm the Twilight Council. This means currently there's no Robo, and I'm concerned there's going to be a delayed Robo as well. If that's the case, DTs can just end the game. This does happen in PvP at the highest level. We've seen Max just insta-GG to this, Hero insta-GG to this, like it happens to all Protoss players out there. It is a part of PvP. Thankfully, Robo before expansion, there is going to be a form of protection. Phew. Robo is on the way. Now, it's still going to be close. I believe there may be enough time to get an Observer, but there's still going to be a small window here where Dark Templar are out and the Observer is not. But this shouldn't just instantly end the game. Like, thankfully. The Observer should be out in time. Assuming we go Observer first, blindly. Assuming it's not like Immortal first. As here come the Dark Templar. Robo's almost done. Jumy's moving out, getting his own third base. DTs are waddling in. And again, I'm hoping for the Observer first. We need that Observer. Dark Templar waddling in. There it is. Observer's on the way. It's being cornered as we speak. He's aware. He does spot the Shimmer. He knows damage is going to be done. But again, the Observer is going to pop out in a second. Despite that, a second DT here into the natural. First, Dark Templar goes down. That's going to be 6 probe kills already. Decent damage for 1 Dark Templar. Ooh, and the base is denied. Yeah, the third base is cancelled. A brutal pick-off. Dark Templar still alive. Still chilling here at the natural. And this is already worth it. This is already worth it here for Jumy. As Jumy, he's going to have a much faster third expansion, so he will have a booming economy. Likewise, getting to faster +1. Siege does move out. Does move out, does hit the third. Dark Templar hits the natural once again. Likewise, DT at the third base, and oh god, these Dark Templar are just pulling him apart. No! He loves down 1 Dark Templar in the main. But damage is still being done. Going for the expansion. Can he force a cancel? 2 more swipes. 2 more. Oh my god, there it is. Cancels the third. Siege still stuck on 2 bases. Double expanding at this point. I mean, he has to. It's brutal. It's a brutal decision to make, but he has to double expand to try to maintain himself. I mean, it was either one of 2 things. Either double expand or throw down like 4 gates and go for a 2-base all-in. Right? It's one or the other. Either all-in or be hyper greedy. Stalkers move in, charge is not done. Oh, just now finishing. But the force fields are brutal here. Yes, Zealots, they do nothing. They break out. They barely do break out. Meanwhile, Jumy just enjoying better upgrades, better economy, larger army. Getting to his own charge and +2. +1 still on the way here for Siege. Oh, the Dark Shrine was not scattered, by the way, so more warp-ins. Jumy, he does spot the expansion. He rotates, he's going for it. And he will rotate, going for the Nexus. Siege out of position, Zealots are here outside of the natural. And we can even reinforce on the front lines. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, there's no saving this Nexus. Jumy does push forward. Oh, he's at a couple of Zealots. He can morph in Archons. There we go. Archons on the way. exactly what he needs here against those charge lots. We have disruptors in production for Siege. Now, this is a good way to bounce back in this game. Like, disruptors, they are a comeback unit, so they can help you recover even from a supply deficit. But it's still in production. It's not ready yet. He needs those disruptors. As Jumy rotates. Slips in between the bases, catches out the Zealots. Yeah, the Zealots, they just melt against those Archons. Disruptor, oh no, the Disruptor! Disruptor coming in, gets started down immediately, and GG gets called. That was the one hope, the one chance here for Siege, and he is shut down. Jumy will claim the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Jumy will take it, but a shout out to his opponent. Shout out to Siege, of course, our Swedish Protoss player. Do apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. Do apologize. But regardless, GG, well played. I do appreciate his openers. I do appreciate that he was going for these riskier builds and these faster expansions, catching Jumy off guard, especially in game 1. I do appreciate it. Unfortunately, wasn't able to take full advantage of it, but regardless, had some strong moments, especially in game 1. Game 1 did feel very back and forth when it came to the trades, when it came to the engagements. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. GG, well played. With that, we are getting ready for our upper semifinals. And I'm heading over to the Korean server. Okay, here we go. Ooh. The bracket is just blazing through here. Hold on. Looks like the upper semifinals is ready for us, and we are quickly setting up for it. Beautiful. I say quickly setting up. I know that Dave is also casting, and I'm waiting to see if he's going to be joining us on Korea.
Semifinals. How am I about to start? I hope they didn't start yet.
Yeah.
Bobby coming to Korea.
Beautiful. Okay, okay, we got it. We got it. Okay, we are good. We are ready to go. Meanwhile, big shout out to Turbo Quacker and chat. Gap, God, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Turbo Quacker. Do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the gifted sub in the chat to the community. Gap, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do appreciate it. Also, yo, shout out to Sig in the chat as well. Sig Siege. I do apologize if I mispronounce. Someday we'll be able to contest these matches. Thank you. No, you played well. You played well. Played very well. GG, well played. But here we go. We're jumping into our semifinals, jumping into our TVT. Now, Jumy versus Vindicta was ready for us, and I would have loved to have casted that series, but we have to prioritize the semifinals. So I wish both Jumy and Vindicta the best of luck as we're jumping into our semis and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ley Lines. We have our South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player, also from South Korea. It is Percival. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our Terran versus Terran. Here we go. Now, ByuN coming into this is the #1 seed of the tournament. He is favored to win the entire event. I will say, looking at the lineups, that there are certain players that can contest ByuN 100%. There are players that can contest him. Percival is one of them. Percival, he definitely has a lot of, I should say that his prowess really comes when it comes to his micro, when it comes to his APM. He's a very fast player, that is true, and we'll see how he compares to ByuN. Let's go. Double gas opener out of ByuN. ByuN going for a faster factory. Meanwhile, we have a single gas opener out of Percival. Percival instead going for a faster expansion. So economic opener out of our blue Terran player, aggressive opener out of our red Terran. We can see Percival, he's scouting, he checks his 4th base location, checks the center 4th location, and the linear 4th location as well. So we will check every single location just in case. Remember, Percival is going for a greedy build, so he's making sure he doesn't get cheesed out. So a very safe play here by Percival, and again, very economic alongside it. Safe in the sense that he's SCV scouting. Meanwhile, ByuN doesn't care. ByuN, again, double gas into a faster factory. Even if there was a proxy, ByuN would have the tools to defend, so ByuN doesn't need to scout, at least not initially. The Reaper can check those proxy locations, and he should be doing the same with his Reaper. There we go, checks the 3rd, goes further out to the 4th, and then should check the northern locations as well. And once ByuN is satisfied, he can wait for his Hellion and then move out. As ByuN does confirm there is no proxy. Both players building up. ByuN getting his own CC later on location. Percival getting a safety bunker. Bunker is on the way. Percival chilling back at home, waiting at the Reaper cliff. And ByuN should be the first to be active. He is going to be active. Moves out. Likewise, Percival in position. Yep, does deflect. Nicely done. Meanwhile, we do see the Reapers, they head towards the natural. Percival, he does escape with that SCV. Oh, but he's being zoned away from his own bunker. There we go, does dive in. Whew, just in time. Marine goes down. SCVs are safe. And so far, Percival, he's keeping up. So far, he's keeping up with ByuN. ByuN, he backs up behind this, going for a 1-1-1. With this, ByuN can go into just standard Raven opener or even into a Banshee. Banshee play is not unheard of in TVT, but it's going to be the Raven. So initial Raven here by ByuN. Likewise, attempts a dive, but is deflected here by the bunker. So far, Percival is keeping up, getting to his own 1-1-1. Likewise on the high ground, nice heli volley. We're getting into a longer game state. We're settling in. Settling in, getting into the mid-game. Both players building up, both players getting into their tank production, Ravens, Disables, Endurance Matrix, all that good stuff, all things Terran. See how this story does end. Now, coming into this, just because of the openers, we do have a slightly better economy for Percival, that is true, but from the side of ByuN, he does have the higher Raven count. So you can see here he's already on 2 Ravens. The second Raven just began here for Percival, so we do have the higher Raven count for ByuN. Likewise, I believe the tank count should also be actually in lead of Percival. So Percival, he is slightly ahead in tanks. ByuN slightly ahead in those Ravens. We have the 3rd Raven on the way. Ravens are going to be a big part of TVT. He's going to have more time to gather energy. Is going straight into the 3rd CC though. So is his opponent. Okay, both players getting to their 3rd bases. But Ravens, they do allow players to actually break siege lines. Disables are a massive part of early game TVT. Having more disables is always a better thing to break through siege lines, to support your army with auto turrets, to even deter marine dives with those anti-arm missiles as well. As ByuN is going into bio-tank. Stim is on the way. Scan reveals Stim, also reveals the timing of the 3rd CC, so Percival knows there's no all-in coming and he knows of the composition. Likewise, Percival also going to his own Stim as well. So we're keeping up. Right now, we're keeping up with each other. Both players are getting into the mid game in different ways, but we're getting there nonetheless. I said before that, of course, with the double gas opener, ByuN had a more aggressive start. That is true, but Percival, he did a great job keeping up with that aggression, did a great job deflecting, and now we found ourselves into the mid game. As we're settling in, a big shout to Dave Tess in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dave, for the resubscription, of course. Oh my god. Esther Dave. Also, shout to Dave as he's also casting. He's also casting tonight. Also covering his own matches on his own stream. We're both covering the semifinals, of course, but Dave, I believe, did cover ByuN's match earlier. I believe he casted ByuN versus Honmono. And ByuN versus Patches. Oh, meanwhile, we are rotating. Again, it's all about positional play. Just Siege. Yeah, Percival, he's the first Siege. Massive. Oh, the disables. Yeah, never mind. Disables do pop up, and ByuN, he will break through this. The first tank goes down by as well, and Percival, he gets caught. He gets caught out completely. Every tank goes down. We spoke earlier how important those disables were, and ByuN, he landed every single one. And with that, ByuN, he breaks the main army in one fell swoop, in one attack. That may just be game. That may just be game then and there. That was brutal. Percival attempting to expand. He has that one tank on the high ground. ByuN, he rotates towards the left-hand side. Again, there's another way in. Up the ramp. Okay, ByuN just waiting for reinforcements. He still has NG on the Ravens as well for more disables. He's got one. He's got one disable so far. Waiting for a second. Now for Percival, he does have the Viking lead, true. For Percival, he is up in Vikings, and the goal would be to zone away those Ravens. If he can snipe the Ravens ahead of time, that would be beautiful. That'd be what he needs. But here come the disables once again. Interference Matrix on both tanks. Army sims in, and ByuN breaks through. ByuN, he breaks through. There's just not enough here to defend. After that earlier fight, Percival, he was just down in supply. And in a mirror matchup, you cannot take those losses. You cannot afford those losses. Third base is broken. ByuN stims in. And he's going for the kill. Going for the CC. Army gets zoned away. Command center will be safe. Does survive. Oh god. Does survive, but GG gets called. It's just too much. And ByuN snowballs out of control. He takes game number 1. Whew. GG. ByuN does take a lead in the series, but a shout out to Percival because, again, up until that point, it was pretty even. It was pretty back and forth between Percival and ByuN up until that one fight where Percival, he was the first to siege, but he didn't get any counter disables off. He wasn't, despite having his Ravens ready, he threw down auto tarts instead to deter the army. He did not interference matrix the tanks of ByuN, and ByuN did break Percival then and there. The game did progress a little bit longer into that fight at the third, but the reality is that that was the game deciding fight there on ByuN's side of the map at that ramp. Add to that ramp, and GG, well played. With that, we're now getting ready for game number 2. Here we go. Getting into game 2. Game 2 is going to be on Ultra Love. Typical mirror matchup being decided in one fight. Yes, I mean that is the brutal reality of mirror matchups, of most mirror matchups. It does depend in some circumstances, but because you have the same tools as your opponents, because typically you have the same economy as your opponent, one bad fight can snowball into a win, or snowball against you even. In mirror matchups. Not always the case. There are certain dynamics where that is different, like Ling Bane, for example. You can take a bad Bane connection to the face, but you can still recover it with your own, like Ling Bane aggression, with your own control, with your own micro. But in Roach versus Roach, that is the case. Likewise, when it comes to mid-game PvP, also very similar. There are ways to recover, but a little bit more niche. As here we go, we're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Shopify. It is ByuN. Leading the series 1-0 and spawning in the top right hand corner. We have the blue Terran player. We have the blue Terran player himself, also from South Korea. It is Percival. Here we go. In PvPs, you can outmaneuver the opponents even if you take a bad fight with stalkers, or you can try to take up into like DTs, into disruptors. Like there are some ways to recover, but it is difficult. It is more difficult, I would say, in mirror matchups than in other matchups to recover, in some sense. Like, of course, there is more nuance in certain situations and in certain matchups, 100%. But here we go. Once again, oh, actually a role reversal here. Okay. Whew. Let's go. So this time ByuN. ByuN going for a single gas. Single gas opener. What does this mean? This means a CC on location on the low ground, so a more economic opener out of ByuN. Meanwhile, Percival double gas into a faster factory. If you remember, we had the same builds last game, but it was ByuN going double gas and it was Percival going for the faster expansion. So we have a role reversal here. We'll see if ByuN can keep up with the Reaper Hellion movement of Percival. Likewise, we'll see if he does commit into additional Reapers and Hellions. Last game, ByuN only went into 2. If you remember, ByuN went double Reaper, single Hellion, then into the mid game, then he backed off and got into a longer game state. Here with the reactor, looks like Percival might commit a little bit harder. Yeah, so Percival, he's going to commit harder here, making additional Reapers and Hellions. So there's going to be a little bit more pressure on Percival to get damage done. Because Percival, he's investing more into Reaper Hellion this time. So the goal here should be to break the natural and to bust into a mineral line. That would be the goal. That would be the hope, is to get into the mineral line and get some economic damage. ByuN, he does go for Reactored Hellion. Interesting. Goes for an add-on swap into Reactored Hellion. If you remember, how did Percival play this out? He went for Reactored Marine production with a safety bunker on the low ground. Additionally, Hellion actually allows ByuN to not just defend, but if he does overwhelm the army initially, he can counterattack. He can counterattack, move out across the map, and threaten the bases of Percival. Neither player has scouted. Percival hasn't seen ByuN. ByuN hasn't seen Percival. Reapers, they do dive in, but the Hellions are revealed. And Percival has to retreat, has to pull away. And ByuN is making an extra wave of Hellions, getting up to 6. Oof. 6 Hellions here for ByuN. Percival, he is not safe. He has to get out of here. Has to pull away. He did see the reactor on that factory. He knows. And suddenly ByuN is going to be the aggressor. Now, the plus side for Percival, because this factory was making Hellions for so long, it means that the tank count is in favor of Percival. He already has 1 tank and he's getting a 2nd tank as we speak. So Percival, he is going to have the tank lead. And I assumed that ByuN was going to be more aggressive with this, but right now he's staying back at home with his Hellions. Okay, there we go. Does move out. Likewise, so does Percival. Going for his tank drop. He's getting caught out though. Oof, brutal losses here. The Hellions go down. Tank late to unload. Yeah, the Hellions, they just shut this down. They don't get the tank, but they get everything around it. Oof. That's the ByuN army. Yeah, Marines are getting roasted. 1 Marine survives, but late pick up Micro. And that was a brutal loss at the same time. Auto charge across the map. 4 SCVs go down. The Raven shouldn't escape, as there is a Viking. But Percival, he has to retreat. He has to retreat. He was hoping for a little bit more damage. This is a brutal pickoff, as the Raven may be hunted down. Barely does escape. Oh my god. Barely gets away. Oh, Percival dropping into the main. Gets eyes on the CC. Will delay. Will delay the command center. Pulls out. Ooh, is that a 2nd starport? Yeah, 2nd starport on the way for ByuN. Let's go. Now, this is a variation of a 2-port Jumy all-in that has been making a resurgence. I say variation because there is a 3rd CC. So ByuN is macroing out of this, but this 2-port build can be brutal. The purpose of going 2-port or 2 starports is to get into an abundance of Vikings and to take map control or take air control away from your opponent. Meanwhile, Percival pushing in. Remember, he has that tank lead. Auto charge thrown down. Tanks forced back. ByuN zoning away. Zone away. Nice siege out of ByuN. Takes down the tank. Oof, brutal pickoff. And again, ByuN making as many Vikings as he can. Likewise takes down another tank and another. Yeah, very nice target firing out of ByuN. Focuses down both tanks. Percival force back. Behind this is getting his own third CC, but the third CC is far later here for Percival. And despite having that tank lead, he lost everything. Oh no, he's within range. Oh my god, we'll lose every single tank. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Percival, he just got too excited, got too aggressive. He gets punished for it. Losing all 4 tanks. And that advantage that Percival once had is not there. It's not there, not anymore. Likewise, ByuN massing up his Vikings, making 3 Vikings at a time. Pushing forward, getting his third CC on location. And Percival's in trouble. Percival, he's in a lot of trouble here. And does get some SCV kills across the map, but ByuN, he doesn't turn around. He does not turn around, he commits. Back at home, there's 1 tank at the natural. ByuN, he pulls away for now. Is reinforcing. Waiting for extra Vikings. And then ByuN can move in. And I don't know if Percival, I mean, he has to expand, but I don't know if he can hold on to this. Not with this many losses. Currently, Viking cannon's in favor of ByuN, but they're not all here. They're still being rallied. Vikings on the way. He gets a first shot off. And Percival forced to land. Boys are being pulled, tanks out of position. Ugh. Yeah, the SCVs are going down. Another tank falls. You know what, ByuN is within range of the CC. Percival just doesn't have the supply. He just can't keep up. Not anymore. As the base takes a lot of hits. At this point, Percival, he's just treading water. Just treading water, trying to keep his head above water even. CC forced to lift. Getting 12 SCV kills. And this is all that ByuN has to do. ByuN doesn't have to break him. Doesn't have to push in. ByuN is already up a base. He's up a base. He's fully mining. 4th CC on location. ByuN is getting further ahead. And there's no rush for ByuN. There's no rush. Percival going for a Doom Drop on the tanks. Nice moves. Oh, he is deflected. Yeah, a little bit awkward here. He gets 2 of the tanks, lands on the others. Nicely done here, Percival. He cleans this up in the best way he could have. Like, it was still a brutal trade. He still lost 1 tank, but he will clean up the army. Whew. Percival, he takes his 3rd. He takes his 3rd base. Percival maintaining his position. ByuN behind this. I believe his tank count was reset. Yeah, only 1 tank. So even though ByuN is up in army supply, the soup is lying here in a sense where a lot of the supply is in Marines. He has a lot of Marines, he has medevacs, he has Vikings, he has less tanks. So pushing into a siege line is not going to be easy here for ByuN. So Percival, he can hold, assuming he doesn't get caught out. But remember, ByuN doesn't have to push in. He can't push in, but he doesn't have to. All he has to do is contain. Just contain Percival. Oh. But it's ByuN we're talking about. He wants to get damage, dropping into the natural. Percival, he barely does miss that rotation. He barely does miss those medevacs. Oh, and there's nothing here. There's nothing here. Percival, he's moving out instead. He's going for his own double drop, which has potential. SCV's going to be going down. Percival stimming into the mineral line. Likewise, dropping to the main. Percival, he doesn't get in. He doesn't get the SCVs. Percival, he's forced back. Meanwhile, ByuN wreaking havoc, getting 15 SCV kills. Getting 20 SCV kills. I should say 19. 19 workers go down. Percival, he will clean this up, but this is brutal, and he needed to get some counter damage. If Percival, if he had killed 17 SCVs here, if he had gone into the mineral line, if he had cleaned up this mineral line, then maybe he could still be in this, but now ByuN, he's skyrocketing ahead. Pushing forward. He's rebuilt some of those tanks, still behind. Still down in tanks. The Vikings, they can bleed back the medevacs. giving the Vikings to Percival. Percival setting up, trying to catch reinforcements. Will do so. Reinforcements are getting caught. That does distract ByuN. And ByuN, he pulls away. This does give Percival some breathing room. Oh, can he get a tank? Up, up. Oh, he can. Whew. Does catch a tank. And Percival, he has control of these bridges. He has control of the bridges for now. ByuN, he cannot move through this. Like the no shot. He's up in supply, but these choke points are brutal. Assuming that Percival's in position. Percival's spreading out, trying to make sure he keeps up with any draw play. Likewise, once again trying to catch reinforcements. ByuN, he rotates to the left. Percival, he does see this. ByuN breaks through. Yeah, he breaks through. He avoids the tanks. He avoids the bridges. And the tank is laid to siege. First tank goes down. And ByuN, he bypasses this position. He just goes straight here for the natural, straight for the bases. Catching another tank. Going for the 4cc. GG gets called, and ByuN, he will overwhelm. He will take the series 2-0. Whew. GG. Whew. GG, well played. ByuN, he will take the series. Shout out to Percival though. Again, he was able to hold his own, especially game 1, right? Like game 1 was neck and neck until that one fight. Here in game 2, a little bit different. We saw that Percival was hyper aggressive, winding it back. If you remember, it all began with Percival with his first tank drop. Remember, Percival, he had a tank lead early on. He did have a tank advantage, and he was a little bit overly aggressive. He overextended. And with that, Percival, he lost his first 3 tanks. Like, it was brutal. But Percival, he was just being a little bit too excited, a little bit too aggressive. Yeah, just a little bit too cavalier there from Percival, as he lost his first 3 tanks. And with that, he lost a little momentum early on. And GG, ByuN does snowball out of control. ByuN does take the series, and ByuN is the first player to make it to the grand finals. And we have yet to actually embrace the bracket. Exclamation mark B. Exclamation mark B in the chat to have a look at the back yourselves. Let us catch up on what's been going on, because we just haven't had time. We've just had game after game after game, series after series, no downtime. Let's catch up. Okay, from the top. Actually, let's zoom in. We have ByuN. ByuN took down Patches. ByuN took down Homono. ByuN took down Percival. Fun fact, that is purely TVTs, by the way. Pure TVTs. ByuN, he will make it to the grand finals. Homono took down Mute 2-1, went all the way to the ace match. That was a very, very spicy series. I was tempted to jump on that, not gonna lie. Tempted to jump on Homono versus Mute. Homono does advance on. Scrolling down, we had Percival. Percival took down his opponent in a walkover, took down Nicoract in the second round. Nicoract took down Gillyman in the TVT. I just realized that's almost pure Terrans up here. Like Homono, ByuN, Patches, Nicoract, Gillyman. Mute is the only Percival. Mute is the only odd one out. Like Mute, he was like one Protoss in a sea of Terran. Jesus. Scrolling down, we had Jumy. Jumy, of course, took down his opponent, Siege. We had Vindicta take down Rebellion. They're currently mid-series, currently locked in. Gerald took down Ateshi. 3-point took down Green Earth, and we have Gerald versus 3-point in a PVZ. 3-point is the only Zerg player in the tournament. No, not quite, but he's the only Zerg player left. Right, we had Hatsu and Hunted Swarm. Hatsu and Hunted Swarm, they were also in the first round. But 3-point, he's the last Zerg player left here in the bracket. Best of luck against Gerald. 3-point is a very cheesy player, I will say that. Very cheesy. And they're currently mid-series. And we are waiting for these matches to wrap up. Now, if we're able to, we will jump in mid-series. I know that Vindicta is streaming his POV, so if you want to tune in, if you want to cheer for Miguelito, you can do so via Twitch, as he is streaming. Jumy is currently not streaming his POV. He was earlier. But you can see from Vindicta's perspective. Otherwise, we are waiting for their match to wrap up to jump in mid-series or to cover the semifinals. One or the other. One or the other. Quarterfinals. Vindicta versus Jumy. Streamer zone. If anyone is watching Vindicta versus Jumy through Vindicta stream. I would appreciate any updates. I don't know what the scoreline is at the moment. Don't know what's going on. Gerald and 3 points. Beautiful. So I'm just setting up the players, setting up the player names for whichever we cast. It's catching up the chat. I swear I didn't put all the tiramisu on purpose. Ah, copium. The soup never lies. The soup does often lie. Does often. ByuN dominating with his build. Yes, if you're referring to the last game, ByuN opening up Reactor to Hellion worked wonders for ByuN. ByuN, he shut down the Reaper aggression of Percival, he shut down the Marines, and it meant that even though Percival went for his one tank drop across the map, like, he had no support. His army just got picked apart, so the tank was really on its own. But yeah, just solid use of his opener. ByuN, I mean. But with that, we have some downtime. We do have some downtime here. We are waiting for one of these matches to open up for us so we can go on a short break. Before we go on the break, I should also emphasize, if you want to help support this tournament, !Matcherino. !Matcherino in the chat, and you'll get a link to the Matcherino page. You can help support this tournament if you wish. 100% of the prize money goes towards the players. It is all funded via Matcherino, so you can do so there if you wish. Otherwise, thank you for the support. Thank you for the support. Thank you for tuning in. You can also support us by Patreon, but Patreon does not fund the Total Tussle. Patreon just funds our other regular events. Total Tussle is funded by a very passionate fan of StarCraft. Shout out to Mark BT. Mark BT does sponsor this event, does fund the event, is a viewer in the chat, and does lurk and does dip in from time to time. So big shout out to Mark BT. Likewise, I know Protostegosaurus does often donate to the Matcherino as well. Of course, Protostegosaurus is the person behind the Pigasaur Monday, big contributor and big supporter of StarCraft events as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. Do appreciate it. Speaking of, it looks like we do have a donation. We do have a donation to the Matcherino. Dave Testa. Oh my god. Dave earlier did subscribe to the channel, and Dave is casting on his channel, and Dave did contribute 10 USD to the Matcherino. Big shout out to Dave. Big shout out to Dave Testa. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for contributing, for boosting the prize pool. Do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. Meanwhile, it looks like Vindicta and Jumy are out of game. Ooh, looks like they're out of game. And we'll see. Oh. We'll see who does make it through. Oh my god, shout out to Dave. God, baby god, we were just So just getting an update. But big shout out to Dave. We were just giving Dave a shout out earlier for contributing to the Matcherino, and thank you so much for not just contributing but for also casting on your channel. So thank you. Hope you had a great stream, hope you had a great cast, hope you had a great time, and welcome one and all to the Tenacious Total Tussle. We are just waiting for the lower semifinals to open up, waiting for results to come in, and it looks like Jumy versus Vindicta did just wrap up. Looks like Jumy takes down Vindicta 2-1, and Jumy is waiting for the winner of Gerald and 3 points. It looks like we still have some downtime. We still have some time to ourselves. Waiting for another series. Just catching up. I figured I'll hang out and watch for now. I'll get the replays. Oh, thank you. God. Do appreciate it. For now, though, we have some downtime, so we're going to be going on a short break. And when we come back, we will have our next series. We will have either a game between Gerald and 3 Point, or the lower semis. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semi-finals of the Tenacious Tussle number 30. Whew, we had a little bit of downtime here, so I do apologize. I hope you enjoyed the brutal OST while it was going on, but we have some updates. We have some crazy updates. I was expecting a PvP. I was expecting Gerald to make it through, but no, we had a crazy upset. And speaking of, we have a 12 pool. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Last Fantasy, we have our German Protoss player, the green Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Last Fantasy, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Hyper 1, going for the 12 pool. It is 3 points. Let's go. As 3 point, he's moving out with his drone scout. Why is he moving out with the drone scout? Because welcome one and all to Last Fantasy. Last Fantasy is a 3-player spawn map. Also, before I get ahead of myself, predictions. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Get your gamba going. As he scouts, he gambles, he guesses. Oh my god, almost correctly. He doesn't quite check. Doesn't quite go all the way. So 3 point is still checking for the location here of his opponents, checking bottom left. Moving in with the Overlords, it is going to be a 2-gate opener here by Jumy. Jumy, very safe opener from our Protoss. He scouts, I mean he sees no expansion. Does go for the pylon block. Trying to piece together what's going on. Very safe start here by Jumy. The Lings are flooding across the map. But Jumy, he has SimCity, he has a second pylon, he has a Zelda on the way. The drone comes in for the hatchery block. And the Lynx move in. And the Zell comes out just in time. Whew. Oh my god. Again, clutch defense here by Jumy. Pylon is done. A second Zell's on the... Oh no! Don't get surrounded. Do not get surrounded. Tense moment here for Jumy. More Lynx moving in. Drone is here to try to get behind the Zell. You can see the probe is in position to block. Yeah, the probe is in position. Very nice setup here. Does save the Zealot. Gateway's under fire, true, taking a lot of hits, but the second Zealot does pop out in time. Whew. Yeah, we have 2 Zealots, we have a nice rail. No, there's a hole in the wall, the boys are being pulled! And it's all or nothing for 3 point. Adept has arrived, 2 Zealots and 1 Adept. Boys are being pulled as well, but this is too late. This is a late reaction here from Jumy. Probes have arrived. One Zealot got surrounded, there's 1 Zealot left. Nice probe drilling, very nice probe drilling. GG gets called, Jumy holds, and Jumy takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Again, really nice controlled defense there from Jumy to be able to re-wall behind it despite not fully walling off. He was able to react in time, he was able to save his units. Really nice SimCity to tuck away those Zealots, and he did pull the probes in time. I was concerned that he had pulled the probes a little bit too late. I was concerned that he was a little bit late there, but alas, he did get there. Did it protect his Adept? GG. Whew, GG, well played. Jumy holds, and Jumy takes a lead in the series. And now we're jumping into game number 2. I was hoping for a longer setup, a longer game on Last Fantasy, but 3 point had other plans. Again, Last Fantasy can be difficult because of the 3-player spawn, but if you remember, Jumy, he scouted 3 point immediately. He scouted bottom right, so very lucky in a way when it comes to the scouting. Jumy did confirm what was going on. He saw the late expansion, he saw the Lings, so he was able to prepare in time. Likewise, we also had like just a blindly safe setup from Jumy with that 2-gate opener as well. So really safe play, really solid, and with that we're getting into game number 2. He's in a 12 pool drone pool once per series. Yes, that is known. For those that maybe are unaware, for those who don't watch much 3 point in this in StarCraft, 3 point he's known for being hyper aggressive and for having at least an aggressive series or aggressive game of the series. For those who are unaware, he had a 21-minute game against Gerald, so he can play longer later games. He can play macro if need be, but he does like to cheese things up at least once. I don't expect him to 12 pool twice though, twice in a row. I don't expect that. And we already see drones on the way. So spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the German Protoss player, the green Protoss, representing Streamer Zone, leading the series 1-0. It is Jumy. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player from South Korea, representing Team Hyper 1. Ooh, going for a pool first opener, not to be confused with a 12 pool. Bear that in mind, it's going to be a 14 pool instead. It is 3 point. Just catching up in the chat. I thought 3-Point was just an Evo player. No. We have casted 3-Point plenty of times before in SE2. He is mainly an Evo StarCraft Evolution competitor. That is true. He does mainly compete in StarCraft Evolution, and he doesn't often sign up for SE2 tournaments, but every now and then he does show up for like a Tuna Cup or a Turtle Tussle. So we do appreciate it whenever 3-Point does, you know, show up in these events. He is more of a dynamic player when it comes to being hyper aggressive or a little bit more macro oriented. I'll always remember 3-Point versus Chappie. 3-Point versus Chappie back in like 2022, 2021 was crazy. It was a ZVZ with 3-Point. I think he initially like tried to cheese Chappie. Chappie survived on 2 bases, and 3-Point, he went into Swarm Host Lurker, and it was like I want to say it was like a 50-minute game. Swarm Host Lurker versus Lurker Viper from Chappie, and it was something. it was crazy. It was crazy. That'll live rent free in my mind for years to come. I do recommend that if you missed it, 3-Point versus Chappie, it should be on YouTube. I believe during an early Sparkling Tuna Cup, I want to say. Meanwhile, 3-Point does move out. I remember casting with Asher, and I remember Asher, he was smudging for Chappie. He was Meanwhile, 2-gate opener. Once again, 2-gate opener out of Jumy, going for the same opener as we saw last time. This time, of course, it is not as committed, and Jumy is aware. Jumy did probe scout. He saw the earlier hatchery, he saw the later pool as well. So 3-Point does back off, but again, 3-Point, he's built up towards a longer game. He's freely droning, freely saturating, getting in towards a longer game state. Jumy can now freely move out. Again, he knows it wasn't a 12 pool, so he knows he's free to be active like this. He also knows there's no gas, right? With this opener, gasless means no link speed. This adept should be safe. The adept should be safe from any kind of surround, from any kind of engage. Zell does move in as well. Double adept follow-up. Hyper aggression out of Jumy, and we'll see what Jumy can get done. Right now, it's going to be 3-Point being the defender. Now, we do expect 3-Point to eventually take his gases, but most likely to skip link speed and maybe go straight into roaches or straight into lair, into a greater form of tech. But because link speed is so delayed, you often just delay it even further, just skip it at this point. As 3-Point attempts to expand, heads towards the third. Jumy gets thrown away. Third base is being taken. Jumy unable to delay any further, but he's going for the queen. Oh, no transfuse. Queen gets caught out. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, massive pick off. One queen falls. The other under fire. So far, 3-Point, he does back off. Keeping up with the adepts. Adepts, they shade past. They can commit. They can one-shot workers. Alas, they do check for the third base. Now to 4 adepts. Behind this Stargate opener into Void Ray. Void Ray hunting down those overlords. Jumy still looking for a way in. Almost shades past. Getting into the queens. Another queen is going to go down. Remember, no transfused off of creep. Ay, ay, ay. 3 points. Is he going to lose another queen? No shot. No shot. The queen. He's going to get it. He gets 3 queens for 3 points. Ay, ay, ay. Bappy. He's been playing too much SE Evo. He forgot. He's like, oh, queens, they can still transfuse off a creep, right? No. Bappy. What's going on? With that shading in between the bases, getting a worker, denying mining here in the main. Remember, no link speed, so links they cannot keep up, but they will shut down one adept at least. Whew, barely one. One adept does go down. Likewise, Void Ray hunts out another queen. Oh my god, that's what, 4 queens? 4 queens going down. Does take down the Void Ray, thankfully, but still some brutal losses here for 3 points. Oracle back into the main. Spawn not quite done. More drones going to be going down. And, oh, Jumy does overextend. Takes an extra shot. Oh no! Does right back in. And Jumy also slipping up a little bit here. Takes down 6 workers, but he will lose the Oracle. So we have a bit of a back and forth here. At least a little bit. I would say that Jumy's still in a better position. But 3 Point does counterattack. He's flooding links across the map. Link speed is not yet done. He does reveal himself. Link's be kicking in a couple of seconds, going for a Bailey Nest, going for a bust. Yeah, it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. It's an all in here for 3 point. He's taking too many losses already. Too much damage. He is all in, and either he breaks Jumy or he dies trying. As Link's follow across the map, there's that shield battery in position. Link speed is revealed. They come in for the surround. Nice warp in. Nice warp in there from Jumy. Does protect those zealots. Getting into charge as a follow-up, not into blink. Charge going to be more ideal. Blink Stalkers, they can struggle against Lings, but Charge Ults and Archons are going to be beautiful against this. So good read here by Jumy. More Lings. The massing, remember, all in. Remember, we have not drawn in quite some time. 37 workers, that's all 3 point has. That's what, a 2 base economy, if that. He's going for the bust. Now, there are shield batteries on the way here at the natural. They may finish in time. It takes a lot of Banelings to bring down the Stalker. Cannon shield battery are ready. Here comes the bust. Jumy does not see this until now. Now he knows. Now he sees. Now he knows he needs to re-wall. Does start down those Banelings, at least tries to. Banelings are crashing in. We have a secondary wall behind this. We're trying to, and yeah, there it is. GG gets called. Archon is revealed. Nice force field, and Jumy he will hold. Jumy will take the series at 2-0. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Jumy does claim the series. GG, well played. 3 point, hyper aggressive. Because of all those losses, because he bled out all the queens and all the lurkers, he was forced, sorry, all the drones, I meant to say, he was forced into an all-in. Jumy, he was forced into an all, sorry, 3 point was forced into an all-in. Jumy, solid defense, was able to get a read on what was going on. Very nice setup with charge, with archons, with shield batteries, cannons. He completely shut 3 point down. 3 points, spending a little bit too much time in StarCraft Evolution, maybe forgetting how vulnerable queens are. He's just thinking to himself like, queens, they're broken units in SE2, Pappy. True. Not quite. As everything very quickly snowballed out of control in favor of Jumy, and Jumy, he will advance on to the grand finals. And who do we have next? Here we have our grand finals. It's gonna be a best of 5 at TVP between Jumy and ByuN. Let's go. Let us go. We have our grand finals. Vetoes are underway. And we have our top 2 players. Quickly going over the bracket here. Let's catch up. Let's catch up what's been going on. And how the bracket has progressed over time. Bam, here we go. Again, ByuN, he was on the TVT side of the brackets. ByuN took down Hormono, ByuN took down Percival, and ByuN, he's made it to the finals. Of course, Jumy took down his more varied opponents. Went to the ace match against Vindicta. I glossed over that, but yes, Jumy did take down Vindicta 2-1. Went to the ace match. I'm a little bit sad that we missed out on that series. If you remember, that series was happening at the same time as ByuN versus Percival, so I would have loved to have been a part of that. Unfortunately, did miss it. I hope to maybe even catch the VODs or catch the replays of that, I should say. I'm sure it was an amazing back and forth. Jumy did take it. 3 point took down Gerald 2-1, so we had some crazy ace matches in the quarterfinals. But we had a bit of a faster series here as Jumy takes down 3 point, and now we have our top 2. Now we have our top 2 here, ByuN and Jumy. Best of 5, it all ends here. And we'll have either a Terran or Protoss champion. Now, ByuN is coming in as a favorite player, that is true. But if you've been watching Jumy over the past 6 months, you would know that Jumy has more and more regularly taken down these big names. Beaten players like Cure, beaten players like Shin, and many others. Like Jumy, I think even last week, he took down MaxPax and... was it MaxPax and Showtime? Or MaxPax and Hero. I think it was Showtime. But Jumy, he took them both down in the Monday Night Weeklies. Like Jumy, he has taken down some big names. Like Jumy, he has risen the ranks real fast and real quick over the past half year. And we'll see how he compares to his new opponent. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of El Dorado, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the German Protoss player, the Green Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. it is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat, as you can predict on who you think will claim it. Only one, though. As a reminder, this is a prediction for the series, not for the game. It is a greater prediction. And here we go. Here we go. For now, single gas. So economic opener out of ByuN going for the racks expand. Meanwhile, Jumy going for a standard opener, going for a gate, cybercore into Nexus. Standard opener out of Jumy, more economic start out of ByuN as we settle into El Dorado. El Dorado, of course, being one of the more quirky maps in the map pool. There are plenty of gold expansions. Gold bases abound here. You can expand it towards your opponent. You can mine through these mineral patches and take that triangular third base, or you can take the linear expansions instead. El Dorado does often lead to a lot more longer game states. The reason for this, as you can imagine, is because the attack paths are very limited, especially if you don't expand towards the south side. You have the center attack path, and you have like one harassing attack path here towards the top side. Because there's only really two main attack paths, you can very easily defend, get vision on this, and deflect any kind of aggression and head towards a maxed out game state. So very often we have seen longer games on this map, but I say that you can mix things up by expanding towards the south side and by having a boosted economy and going for an all-in, or even going for drop play undetected. The rush distance by air on this map is very short. Very short. So because of that, whether it's Stargate openers or whether it's drop play, it can get out of hand really quickly if you're unable to get eyes on this. Right now, Jumy has the Zelnaga, does have the center base or the center location. Meanwhile, he's looking. Twilight Council opener. Twilight Council opener out of Jumy. He's opening a Blink, not Stargate. Go. We have 3 Maturino contributors today. Oh, let's go, let's go. Hold on. Let me just quickly double check that. Again, if you want to help support this tournament, I should start the finals with that. If you want to help support the tournament, you can do so via Maturino. Exclamation mark. Maturino in the chat, and you'll get a link to the Maturino page. So far, not just Dave Tessa, Blakeadoos, and Protostegosaurus have all contributed to the prize pool as well. So thank you so much. Big shout to Protostegosaurus, Blakeadoos, and Dave Testa for the support, for boosting that prize pool. Again, 100% of the money on Maturino for this tournament, it all goes towards the players. It all goes towards top 4. It goes towards ByuN, Jumy, alongside Percival, and 3 Point. Goes towards the top 4 players. Meanwhile, ByuN does slip in, it goes for a scout into the main base, gets eyes on the gateways, and should confirm the Twilight Council. So he does slip into the mineral line. Yep, gets confirmation. He does see the research, so he knows it is a Blink opener. So ByuN is aware. Behind this, going for a drop across the map. He went for a 1-1-1 into Marine drop. Now, bear this in mind. There's no stim. There's no stim. There's no upgrades here. These are vanilla Marines, so they don't have too much firepower here, but their goal is to focus down workers. They can focus down probes real fast and real quick. Oh my god. What is happening? Jumy does deflect it. Jumy is crazy. He's rushing into the gold. Rushing into the center gold expansion. Very risky maneuver here. ByuN, despite having the drop, he does miss this. He doesn't know. ByuN is in the dark. He will not see this. If there were workers mining, he would see the workers. Okay, he does confirm. He does confirm as he was setting up for a drop into the main. He does come across the expansion. And I don't see Jumy getting away with this. And this is the difficult thing about trying to rush into the gold base against Terran, is we did mention earlier, because the rush distance by air, drop play is common, and drop plays are going right past this location, so ByuN does see this. ByuN does see this. Now, Jumy, he already knows that there's a medevac here. He knows that there's a medevac in this area, so Jumy should be aware that there's a high chance that ByuN would spot this. And Jumy, he's opening up those minerals, he's trying to gain access to that base, and it's going to be up to Jumy to protect both his main and his third base. And his gold. Meanwhile, ByuN is setting up. ByuN, you can see here, he's also mining through those patches. His goal is to break this gold. Of course, there's high ground right next to it, so it's very difficult to maintain this position, especially against these tanks. Tanks going to be moving in, drop into the main base. Now, the drop and the Raven are designed to distract while the tanks get in position. if the tanks, if they can siege up within range of this Nexus, I don't see this Nexus surviving. Meanwhile, Jumy is getting in position. But again, the hope for ByuN is to drag these Stalkers back into the main with the drop. Here we go. Auto charge towards the natural. Minerals still trying to break out. Drop, not yet. Get an auto turret into the main. So far, getting 2-3 probe kills. Decent damage so far. Jumy, he does not move. He does not react with his army. He's keeping his Stalkers in the center. So Jumy, he does have minimal reactions here to the Raven. Stalkers moving out. Proxy gateway being set up. And ByuN, he does spot this. He does siege back at home. Ooh. Stalker, I believe, did see the opened up minerals. Yeah, just barely. So Jumy, he knows. He knows that the minerals have opened up. He should be aware that the army's coming. Jumy, yep, does rotate over. Trying to force the siege. Oh, please add a Stalker. Yeah, 1-2 Stalkers go down. Brutal losses. Charge is done. But the tanks are sieged. And the Bio army stims in. Yeah, stim is ready. Tanks under fire. Diving on the tanks. Oh, God. Tank blows are brutal. Zealous get on top of the tanks. Tanks are barely going to go down. But what about the Bio? Is there enough here? It's close, but there barely is. Whew. Jumy defends. Jumy, he defends, he holds on, shuts down the Bio. More Stalkers coming in to reinforce. Without the Zealous, Jumy, he has to back off. He has to pull away. Oh no! It doesn't pull away far enough. Please down the Stalker. Yeah, Marines, they bust into the main. This time they're stim. Jumy, he's barely holding, but again, he's bleeding out a lot of Stalkers. Shield battery putting in a lot of work. Zealots as well. Jumy, he defends the main. And once again, he keeps pushing down to 3 Stalkers on the front lines. And 3 probes falling. Jumy, he needs war pins. Not enough. Yeah, Jumy, he barely doesn't have enough. It was close. Observer goes down. 5 probes as well. Zealots, they do trickle in. Jumy, he's holding. Jumy, he's barely holding on. I mean, I say that, did lose a lot of workers, but still has a greater economy thanks to the gold. ByuN expanding toward, he's crazy. ByuN, let's go. Hyper aggression expanding towards Jumy. They're right next to each other. They're touching tips, papi. Oh my God. And this is just so ByuN can defend and attack at the same time. So he can defend his third base while attacking. Just hyper aggression out of ByuN. He doesn't want to slow down. Mine shots going off. Up. Oh, that didn't quite connect. There we go. They take down one of the Stalkers. Zealous, they collapse on the army. Nice defense here by Jumy. Very nice. And now that he defends, now ByuN is getting punished. He's getting punished for the expansion. The mineral line is exposed. Voids are being pulled. Jumy, has he done it? Forcing friendly fire. Mine shots going off on the SCVs. 17 SCV kills. And ByuN, he wanted to be aggressive. He wants to break the goal base, but he gets punished for it. Jumy snowballing out of control, going for the kill, going for the CC. The command center will barely survive. Stalkers are blinking, going for the medevacs. He gets 1. He gets the Raven as well. Nice pick up. Takes down the Raven. Running out of Zealots. Jumy has to get out of here. He has to pull away. Oh, going for the medevac. Blinks away. And Jumy, he now has control of the map. He has a better saturation, better economy. Denies the third. Again, that was on the knife's edge. If you recall, a lot of it came down to those Widowmines, came down to the fight that that ByuN went for. We dove into the goal base. The Widowmines were lackluster. They connected on one Stalker. And Jumy, he's going for the kill. He's going for the throat. Collapsing the army. Boys are being pulled once again. Jumy going for the CC. Oh, won't get it. He will not get it. A little bit greedy there. Once again, collapsing in the army. Mine shots about to go up on the Stalkers. Oof, nice blinks. He avoids those mine shots. Jumy backs off. Again, Jumy, he knows he is so close to breaking ByuN. So close. Jumy going for the other guy. Let's go. Going for the other goal base. He's not stopping. He's not slowing down. There's no brakes on the Jumy train. Oh, no. And ByuN has lost too much momentum. He's lost too much momentum at this point. He's got a Ghost Academy on the way. It's exposed. If he loses control of this army, then he will lose the Academy. lose control of this location, this ramp, I should say. ByuN going for the gold, but Jumy should never allow ByuN to expand. At least not in these southern bases. ByuN's moving in, but Jumy, he's ready for it. So ByuN is being dragged out into the open. There are 2 Widow Mines. Jumy pulling away, waiting for extra weapons. There we go, does collapse in. There are now 4 Widow Mines. Mine shots going up. Massive connections. Oh my god, the connections are brutal. Zealots, they go down, and ByuN holds. Again, those are insane connections with those Widow Mines. Jumy, he stacked up too much. Jumy, now he's in trouble here. The gold base is getting up and running. ByuN has control of the gold. Jumy running out of steam. Trying to get this other gold base up and running. Yeah, ByuN, the ghost production has begun. As that academy has completed. And this bio army from ByuN it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. Jumy trying to break down those rocks. Trying to wall off. But alas, Jumy, he's in trouble here. Going for a runway at the same time, trying to force ByuN back. Oh my god! ByuN lock him in! Knocks down the rocks. No escape. Jumy waiting for +2. Remember, he has no splash damage. No splash damage. Limited gas. Jumy, he is heavily reliant on all these zealots. And ByuN, he's snowballing out of control. Jumy, he was so close to breaking ByuN earlier. He was so close to breaking him. Ay. This was a crazy game. It was crazy. Oh, mine just going up. Once again, brutal connections on those zealots. The zealots, they just melt. And ByuN, he does it. He has too much. He has far too much at this point. It was a very intense back and forth. Again, Jumy, he was so close, but alas, ByuN, now he snowballs out of control. He has a 3rd base up running, a gold base at that. Marines, they scale better into the mid-game. Scan takes down all the DTs. GG gets called, and ByuN, he breaks through. ByuN will take game number 1. Whew. GG, well played. A very intense back and forth. It was a crazy game state, with initially ByuN being denied, ByuN being shut down. GG, well played. And ByuN takes the lead. Here we go. Here we go. Jumy almost had, yeah, 100%. He almost had him. If you remember, there were a couple of key moments where I don't know if it would have been enough to break ByuN, but if you remember, there were a couple of key moments where Jumy was spending some DPS and in a way I would argue wasting shots on the CC. There were 2 moments. There were 2 times where Jumy tried to kill the command center of ByuN, the 3rd base specifically, where he was targeting down the command center at the 3rd location, and he also did the same thing when he pushed up the ramp into the natural as well. And one of 2 things, right? Either if he does kill the 3rd base, that would be a big win for Jumy. So if he was successful, then that would have been different, but he wasn't, right? So because of that, it wasn't really, it really hurt him more than anything, where in that time he could have been focusing down medevacs or marauders, some key units, and that may have been the difference in breaking ByuN. But of course, it's a hard call to make, because at the end of the day, if he had killed the 3rd, and he had gotten close twice, if you remember, twice he got the command center down into the red where it was burning. If he had killed it, that, I mean, 100% worth it, 100%. But he didn't, right? He wasn't able to break the 3rd base in both instances. And because of that, like, retrospectively, we can say, like, those are moments where we could have been targeting down some more key units, right? Some more, whether it's SCVs, marauders, medevacs. But very close. Very, very close. And here we go. And spawning in the right-hand corner of Amygdala, we have our German Protoss player, the Green Protoss, representing Streamer Zone, down in the series. But what a game 1. What a way to start the series. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. I believe he can. It is Jumy. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify. In the series 1-0, it is ByuN. Ooh, as ByuN, he does sneak by with that SCV. He barely avoids the probe. He was hiding here on the left-hand side, and he comes in with the eBay block. eBay block out of ByuN. Meanwhile, we do see Jumy. He does confirm the lack of gas, so only one gas should mean a CC. Oh my god, he's crazy! He's going for I missed it. He's going for the cannon rush. Oh my god, Jumy, he's lost his mind. Mate, game one broke him. The cannons are on the way. Boys are being pulled. The eBay gets cancelled as we need as much money as possible back at home. And we'll see if Jumy can get this up and running as the cannons are on the way. Let's go. Oh my god, one probe goes down, but one probe still survives. Cannons on the way. Oh no! He gets blocked the cannon. Second, third cannon. 5 cannons in total, but the cannons, they're out of range. I should say that the low ground cannons, they can't support. Yeah, they cannot support. Cannons are being denied. GG and Jumy. The cannon rush will fail, and ByuN will take a 2-0 lead. GG. Oh my god. Hi. It is difficult to cannon rush a Terran player. Very, very difficult. Unfortunately, wasn't quite able to get it going. It was definitely out of left field and crazy. But unfortunately, we saw that ByuN, he was able to pull the boys in time. He blocked one of the cannons just in time as well. Now we're jumping into game 3. Jumping into game 3. Just catching the chat through, going for the CC and YOLOing into mines. I would not say throw, just as I was emphasizing previously, I do think that that there's value in killing the CC at that time. Like, again, like, we know that he wasn't able to, but at the time, like, there was a proper argument for going for it. Did fail in the end, but was still very close. Referring to game 1, but here we go. We're jumping into game number 3, and I'm hoping that we can get an extended series. I'm hoping that we can bring it back and get into game 4 or game 5, but I feel like a lot of it is determined on this player here, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Leylines. We have the German Protoss player, the green Protoss, representing Streamer Zone, with some wild builds in both game 1 and in game 2. It is Jumy. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player once again going for the eBay block. Representing Shopify Rebellion, it is ByuN. Here we go. So just like the previous game, he's moving out with the SCV, and the goal here should be to sneak in and to eBay block the expansion. We'll see if Jumy can get an eye on this ahead of time and shut this down. As the SCV does move forward, Jumy's on the low ground. This time he's ready. Yeah, this time he's in position. eBay gets thrown down, but Jumy has a much faster reaction, much faster response. Pulls a couple of boys, 4 probes in total. Good reaction so far here, and Jumy will shut this down. So nice start here for Jumy. Again, this could have been so much worse if Jumy didn't move down to the low ground. If he missed this, Jumy would have been forced to expand elsewhere. As we're getting into a longer game state. Wonder if he's been getting lessons from ByuN. Oh no. Possibly. Aye. Este Jumy. I mean, as we've seen so far in this series, like Jumy, he can play standard, he can play macro, or he can be just crazy and wild, right? It's like, even game 1, winding it back, I don't want to harp on game 1 too much, but it was an amazing game. But remember, Jumy, he rushed into the gold, right? Like, he rushed into both gold bases, really. But that helped fueled like his build as well. Like, there was a lot going on. Speaking of Jumy, he doesn't expand. He pretends to expand. He threw down the pylon, but instead we're going for the proxy. We're going for a 1 base all in. Okay, one way or another, this game is about to end, as we have how many gates? 3 gates at home and 1 proxied across the map. It's going to be a 4-gate 1 base all in. So 4-gate 1 base all in. Meanwhile, ByuN did go for an economic opener. He went for a single gas. That is why the factory is later. The second gas is later, and he has a faster CC. So this is already looking decent for Jumy. Already, economic opener out of ByuN. Delayed factory is solid here when it comes to this all in. But the CC is on the high ground. So Jumy, he cannot threaten or delay the command center, which I'm sure he would have liked to have done. So ByuN is playing safe. He's playing economically but safe as well with that CC on the high ground. Jumy will see if he can break this position. Safety Cyclone is on the way. The Cyclone is going to be the backbone of ByuN's army. No bunker because ByuN hasn't scouted. ByuN doesn't know what's coming. If he was aware of the all-in, we'd see bunkers, 100%, and maybe even a couple of pre-pulled SCVs to repair, but ByuN is unaware of what's going on. This still needs a little bit more time as gateways are finishing up, and here comes the warp in. Huh, there it is, 4 stalkers at a time. Warp in is upon us. Now, if Jumy can get on top of that Cyclone, that could be game. If you can dive on that Cyclone, Jumy just keeping his army pinned back. There it is! Oh, does move in. The Cyclone does get the hell out of there. ByuN, he evacuates the natural. He pulls back into the main. Lock on that Stalker. Oh, no, the Stalker, no! The Stalker gets locked in. The Stalker goes down. Yeah, rough start. Adept does fall as well. That Cyclone doing a lot of damage in the back line. And yeah, ByuN is holding. ByuN, he is holding. Oh, I say that. 4 more Stalkers come in. Again, warping in 4 Stalkers at a time. Another Stalker goes down. Brutal lock on. Jumy going for the dive, but GG gets called as Jumy, he does not break through. Good luck. Well played. And ByuN will take the series at 3-0. Will be this week's champion. GG. GG. Well played, ByuN. He will take the series. Will be our champion. Will be our champion, and ByuN will take it. Shout out to Jumy though, because Jumy, even though he goes down here, even though I know it's very late in Europe, I know it's very late, but Jumy, he had an amazing performance making it this far. And again, I will say that game 1 was beautiful. Like game 1, I felt like kind of set the tone a little bit. I will say after game 1, Jumy was a little bit demotivated. In game, he was like, oof, like, oh, that doesn't bode well. Like after game 1, Jumy, he was disheartened a little bit, and I don't blame him. Like, it was so close. It was so close, and I'm sure he felt so solid in that game as well. But does feel like it kind of set the tone, and in the end, ByuN did snowball out of control, did take it. But again, shout out to Jumy, did perform very well here in this series and in this tournament. But congratulations to ByuN. Congratulations, ByuN, he does claim it. GG. GG, well played. Whew. And with that, we are going to be wrapping up. We're going to be wrapping up here for the broadcast. A bit of a shorter broadcast, actually. Usually we last like 4 hours. But I will say that if you remember, Jumy versus 3-Point was pretty short, right? Jumy versus 3-Point was a pretty short series, and of course the finals was a short one as well, so this does wrap up a little bit faster than we're used to. Regardless, hope everyone had a great time, hope you all enjoyed yourselves. If you enjoyed this tournament, and if you want to see the next one, this is a bi-weekly, every 2 weeks, or every fortnight, every 2 weeks, bi-weekly. We do feature the Tenacious Tussle at this time slot. This is at a more NA friendly time, so we're able to feature some NA players like Vindicta. You know, Miguelito, Vindicta was here, Greenert from Canada, we had Hunted Swarm as well, and many others, so this is a little bit more at a NA friendly time, and some of the Europeans can stay up, and some of the Koreans can wake up early as well, so we're able to feature all 3 time zones and all 3 player bases with this event. But again, it's every 2 weeks. If you want to help support it, you can do so via Match Arena if you want to boost the prize pool for this tournament. Otherwise, our next broadcast is going to be later tonight. Let's switch our scenes over. Let's switch our scenes and catch up on our weekly schedule. Now, we are live twice a day, every single day, usually. But as you can see here, we kind of had a day off on Wednesday. It was not intentional. It was forced upon us. Yesterday was kind of depressing. It was a little bit smudge. Basically, what had happened, we were scheduled to cast Code for Giants Cup and the Rex March Madness. We had 2 events lined up yesterday. But for Code for Giants Cup, I suffered from a little bit of insomnia. Basically, after the HSL broadcast, I couldn't sleep. I was trying to, I couldn't get any sleep. By the time Code for Giants Cup started, which was at like 9 AM my time, I was wide awake. Like, I was awake, but we didn't cast it because I was very fatigued as well. I say wide awake. I was awake, but I was fatigued, and I didn't feel like it would be a good cast. So in the end, we missed Code for Giants Cup. I will be catching up via replay, so we'll be catching up on that. In the evening, we were supposed to be casting the Rex March Madness, and we were fully rested for that. We were good to go, but the internet here was very unstable. Internet was very unstable. We were spiking up to 1000 ms in game, 1000 ms, and of course I don't want to hinder the players whatsoever. So for whatever reason, we just kept spiking. Like it was like it would spike up, then back down, and then spike up. I don't know what was going on, but like. And that's not usual here. That's not regular. It's not a regular occurrence. But our internet was very unstable for whatever reason, so we weren't able to cast the Rex March Madness. Shout out to Rex, shout out to Cosmos for both events that we missed. We'll be catching up via replays. As you can see, on Saturday evening, you can see on the schedule Rex March Madness. That event was live last night. We're going to be catching up on replays on Saturday. Less than ideal, you know. I know a lot of people are more interested in live coverage and live events, like this event even. So it's less than ideal, and I know that was covered by Rex, by Wardy. I think Wardy casted in English. But we'll be catching up on those matches on Saturday instead. So if you missed out on that event, we got you covered on Saturday. Likewise, Code for Giants Cup, which is a Brazilian tournament, will be casted next week. So we have that lined up. Meanwhile, we just wrapped up with the Turtle Tussle Thursday morning. Thursday evening at 7 p.m. KST, we're going to be live with the Pondcast. If you're curious, what is the Pondcast? That is a weekly talk show where we go over all the news of the week. We have a lot of discussions, and again, if you are maybe a little bit out of the loop in StarCraft 2, then we got you covered. Last week we went over, did we go over Krakow last week? I am Krakow. Last week was the Bruno GLHF interview. There was a ByuN documentary series that was updated, and we had, of course, the Shopify Rebellion Evo content as well. So we went over some of the news, went over all the results of last week's tournament as well. This week, there's also a lot to discuss. This week we have, oh my god, we have the Happy video that was released by Esports Storyteller. Going over Happy. We have the Vortex documentary that was made as well, or like video rundown, so we're going to be catching up on that. We have the GLHF interview with Crisis, so we're going to be discussing that. We have a new board game, a new StarCraft 2 miniature board game was released, so we're going to be discussing that. TLMC results, Pigsty Festival. I know there are new figurines and plushies released that are also from SE2, so there's a lot to go over, and of course the news of the week as well. So there's plenty to discuss when it comes to happenings in StarCraft 2. So if you're interested, if you want to be up to date, you can either watch it live or catch up with the VODs on YouTube. Aussie internet unstable. What a shock, as an Aussie, I know the pain. I mean, just to wind it back, usually our internet's fine. Like usually, like we don't have the fastest internet, but usually it's fine. Like usually we're all good. I've never experienced spikes like that before. So. Really unfortunate, really very smooch, feels bad, man. But yeah, later on tonight we have the Pondcast. Tomorrow we're going to be live with the HSL, with the Hispanic Star League. We always have half a day off, so Friday evening we do have off. Technically, I guess we had Wednesday off, but like I was just depressed on Wednesday. I was very sad because we just couldn't work basically on Wednesday. It was out of our control. But we have Friday evening off, as we usually do, kind of leave half a day off a week. That's going to be Friday evening, and we have Saturday with Hostmasters, or with the Host Open, with Rex March Madness, SEL, Sparkling Tunic Cup, and more StarCraft Evolution. So we have a jam-packed schedule over the weekend and leading up to it as well. So if you want to tune in, CranKy Ducklings, ! Socials in the chat, and you'll get a link to our social medias. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord, all things CranKy Ducklings. We have Mastodon, we have Blue Sky. Likewise, check out our YouTube, as we do upload VODs on a daily basis. Plenty of VODs on YouTube, plenty of content to indulge in, so do check it out there. Otherwise, Patreon, ! Patreon in the chat. You can see our Patreon currently listed under the schedule, bottom right. You can see the Patreon. We have a goal of 500 USD a month, and we have exceeded and reached so many goals this month, currently at 445 USD. Thank you so much to all of our patrons. 100% of that money goes towards tournaments and players. We don't take a cut or anything like that. Not yet. Eventually, I would love to reach a goal where we can pay out like admins and pay casters. But currently, all the money on Patreon goes towards tournament prize pools and players. So if you want to help support the players, you can do so via the Patreon. The Patreon does fund our 3 tournaments currently, as you can see here, bam, on screen. We have Sea Duckling Open, which is a bronze to diamond tournament. That is a monthly amateur tournament for diamond players. We have Master Swan Open on the other side. That, as the name kind of entails, is a tournament for masters players, also a monthly tournament. And we have Sparkling Tuna Cup in the middle. That is an open tournament to all players, where we feature players like Solar, like ByuN, Jumy, Gerald, Shin, Bunny, Creator. All of our regulars do compete in Sparkling Tuna Cup. That is an open tournament, and our next goal on Patreon is to boost the prize pool specifically of the Tuna Cup even further. So if you want to help support the scene, help support the players, help support StarCraft, you can do so via Patreon if you wish. And again, all goes towards these 3 events, goes towards those prize pools. When it comes to our next goal, the goal that we just reached is to actually boost the prize pool of our amateur events enough to actually be eligible for Liquipedia. So for those that don't know, to have your tournament on Liquipedia as a website, it does require a minimum threshold of prize money provided to actually make it onto the main space, and we have reached that goal with Patreon. So we're going to be moving all of our events over to Liquipedia, to their Liquipedia pages, so that's going to be a lot of work, but we'll be doing so. So very, very exciting to see that, and yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the support, whether it's on Patreon, whether you're subscribing on Twitch, whether you're a member on YouTube, or even just watching the channel. Thank you. Thank you so much. Do appreciate it. So much. And we'll see you guys later on tonight for the Pondcast. That is going to be in 7 hours. In 7 hours time, we're going to be live with the Pondcast. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you then. We will see you then. Congratulations to ByuN, and I'm going to go catch up on all the news. I have a lot of videos to watch, a lot of interviews to watch as well, to talk about during the Pondcast, so I'm going to get through all that. So I'm going to be catching up, and I'm going to get some breakfast as well. 2 p.m. breakfast time. Happy breakfast time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. We'll see you guys tonight or tomorrow, whenever you happen to tune in. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.